Hey guys, how's it going? Praveen here. So today I wanted to talk to you about text balance in design and CSS. So take this blog post for example. It has a narrow width and it has a big heading, right? So if you want to increase its max width to something like this 740, okay. Now we have in the heading we have a problem. It's a little awkward. So this in daily life, this life word is this next sentence, and it mostly doesn't look good. This is called runt or widow in typography. So while I'm designing, I usually reduce the width to something like this, so that it's not all alone there and doesn't look awkward. And but most of the time I do something like this even, so it's very balanced. So this is, let's say this looks ugly, and I'll make this pretty to something like this, so this looks better. Or I'll make it balanced, so this is balanced, so the number of words are more or less balanced in the first line, second line. And this also works for however many lines of heading that you have. So let's say if you have very narrow blog post, but this again comes to 3 lines, I will sometimes do it like this. But in design this is simple, but while developing it's in CSS it's quite hard. But there's a new CSS property called text balance. So I'm in Safari right now, and this is a blog post I have, and this has the same problem, right? So some good Figma plugins, part 1 is that, so that doesn't even go with the heading. This is like I'm saying that this is the first Figma plugin, so that doesn't work out. So I'll just go here and I'll add the text wrap balance property. So when you add the text wrap balance property, it's fully visually balanced, right? But I don't think even this looks good. There's lot of gap over here. So now Chrome added a new attribute for that. It's called text wrap pretty. So balance does this, it's the first line, second line is fully balanced, but you can change it to pretty. So when you add text wrap pretty to the headline, it'll just won't have a single word at the last line. So if there's a single word or single letter at the last line, it will just go ahead and move the last word also here. So it looks pretty rather than being fully optically aligned, fully balanced, I should say. So yeah, so I mostly use text wrap pretty everywhere. That's why it's not in Safari yet. Text wrap pretty is not in Safari yet, but text wrap balance is. That's why it's not having here. But when you refresh here, yeah, text wrap pretty is already there. So yeah, this text balance property is very good for headings and nothing else. You shouldn't add it to, you can add it to everything here, but you shouldn't add it because it has some performance implications, because it checks all the lines, however many lines it draws, and it has to move the words from the last line, or optically align everything. So it has some performance implications. So I wouldn't add it to everything, because it loops all the text words in the text. So I wouldn't add it to everything. Mostly all the headings, even this H2, maybe even H3 headings, and I'll leave it there. And one single line of CSS, and everything looks good. I used to do this with JS a lot, just to make everything look pretty, but no, it's in CSS itself right now, which is great. But actually there is not something like this for Figma. In Figma, if you did this full width, right, you have to manually go in and hit enter to make this work, or you have to change the width. So I hope Figma does something like this. Maybe somewhere over here you can add text wrap balance, which will be great. But yeah, even Figma doesn't have that yet.